Trying out a bit of a different recording setup here. Don't know how well it's going to work necessarily. If it works well, I might try it again, but if not, I think I'm going to move over to my old setup. Admittedly, this one is a lot more comfortable. I would prefer that this one worked out, but like I said, I'll use whichever works. Let's get on into the video. I think that art reviewers are dumb, and specifically, I think it's just because anything is accessible and cheap to view as online art. I think it would be better reviewed by oneself. Like whenever it comes to art, like I don't really think that you need a professional person to tell you whether or not it's good or not. A lot of people like to say that art is in the eye of the beholder. Art is subjective, and whether or not that's true, I mean, the appreciation of it certainly is. Whether or not something has artistic merit, that's normally up to the people who say, whether or not there's an objective, like, this is good or this is bad. A lot of people will get into arguments about you with that, but whenever it comes down to it, I do like to take the stance of, maybe just look at it and judge it for yourself. Most of the time, there will be, like, an unconscious, like, collective decision on whether or not it's good or bad, and that's normally just because, like, if it's better than something you could do, most people decide that it's going to be better in general, I digress. I just think that art is easier reviewed by, like, oneself, and that's just my opinion, but, there are people who, like, make an entire career out of critiquing art, And I mean, in the digital age and the age of YouTube, when, like, anyone with a camera and a microphone can do whatever they want, there are definitely channels dedicated to it, and, I think that, like, most of these videos, though, they don't actually delve into, like, artistic merit or anything like that. They normally just dissolve into, like, drama and shit flinging and, attempts at, like, canceling content creators, so to speak, because, that's what drives views, and, like, those views give you money and so on and so forth. And, like, there was a reason that I made this video, and it was this moment of realization that, like, this was definitely what was happening. I used to watch a couple of Daft Peanut videos here and there, and this is, my big admission here. This is my big confession. I enjoyed his videos, but then there was the realization that he wasn't really trying to give specifically artistic critiques in a lot of the videos, and it was just going into, like, drama and, like, talking about the character of certain people. Like, that was the thing, is that I would normally try to take criticism that other people had levied against them and try to make sure that I didn't get that criticism in the future, if you understand my meaning. I like finding out where other people have messed up so that I can try to avoid those pitfalls myself. And I mean, I definitely can see ways that that's helped me out whenever it comes to art and, like, drawing, line quality, etc., 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 shading and whatnot. All those fundamentals that they don't really teach you in art class. But what I'm trying to say is this, like, I stopped watching his videos for the longest time just because, like, it was devolving more and more into talking about the shenanigans and antics of these individuals. And, that's good and fine if you're a drama channel, but I mean, like, I went there specifically trying to find artistic critiques of other people's stuff so that I could avoid them, And, like, what it was, he released a video recently, and this is the reason why I actually decided to make this video specifically. He released a video on someone called Aetherion Art. Now, the thing with Aetherion Art is that, they draw, like, anime shit. They draw, like, anime girls and stuff, and, if that's your thing, that's your thing. It's not necessarily my thing. If I'm looking at someone who's drawing girls, I have certain taste, we'll say. I have certain specific taste. And I've talked about those artists before in previous videos, like Combo Art, definitely go check him out. He makes good stuff. I digress. What I'm trying to say, though, is that it's like, regardless of what his art is, he kind of touches on it at the start, and he says it's like, well, he draws art, and it's decent, I guess. It's good. And then the rest of it is just, like, the entire rest of the video is just Discord shit. Like, drama and shit, where he's just in his Discord saying weirdo stuff because it's the internet. Who could have ever thought that someone on the internet was going to say weirdo shit? Like, he calls him an incel, the involuntarily celibate, and whether or not that's true is one thing. Whether or not you're using it as a, derogatory method of trying to mess with this dude, I mean, that's something else entirely. Which he clearly was. I mean, the entire video, like I said, it didn't really have any artistic critique in there. It was literally just him talking about things that this person says behind closed doors and what should have been private, And I mean, like, you're just pulling somebody's dirty laundry out into the public for no real reason, not really picking on his art. I mean, this is what I used to come to the videos for, trying to find artistic critiques, and there were literally none in this video, Like, I could remember a couple videos where he would talk about tracers, and he would tell you why tracing is sometimes a good thing to do whenever you're starting out so you can learn, like, proportions proportions, and you can learn line quality and all that good shit. But it would always devolve into him talking about how someone was tracing and they weren't doing a good job of hiding it and how they weren't handling critique and whatnot. But, I would come there and I would, effectively the takeaway from that is don't trace, which, I don't, which, admittedly in high school I did, but that's a whole nother story. I wasn't publishing that stuff. I still don't. That is a story in and of itself that involves me trying to make my art teacher mad with certain types of images that she did not approve of, but I digress. Like I said, I was just there trying to find, artistic critiques for the longest time, but I had to leave because I eventually found out that he was just making drama videos, and that's just, if I want to see a drama video, I'm going to go try to find a drama video, but I didn't want to find it there. I was trying to find art videos. He did this with another person, too. He did this with Antunes, and, these are the only two examples I really know of because, like I said, I stopped watching his videos, but Antunes, his whole thing was that he's a YouTube animator, and he draws webcomics from time to time, too, that he publishes on Twitter. And he touches a little bit on some of the stuff he does there. And then he talks about his associations, how he was reportedly, associating with, the what he would refer to as the alt-right, but I think it's just, the edgy side of Twitter, So he was conversing with, I'm certain, what Daft Pina would refer to as the enemy, and, you can't have that, so he was trying to expose him. So, the whole thing was he manages to get into an interview with Antunes, and then he starts talking about these things, calling him a racist and everything. This was clearly a drama-driven video. This was clearly him trying to cash in and cancel a dude for views and potentially money from that, And it's just a dick move. It's a scumbag move. And the man is a scumbag. That's all I'm trying to say here, And the thing with Antunes specifically was that he was trying to say that he was a tracer, because of course, he did trace a couple of frames whenever it came to certain things in his videos and this game that he's working on. But then he created original animations around those tracings, which is I believe in one of the response videos that Antunes made, he brought up meme culture and how meme culture, if you you can see people taking little images of these memes and then using those to further animate them. I think a good example I could pull up here is how someone turned Tuxedo Pepe into the Awooga, where he's got his eyes popping out and they animated that and everything. That's a good example of it. I would say undeniably it goes into the territory of fair use what Antunes did because he only traced one frame out of 12 or something like that. The amount that he actually used and copied directly is eclipsed by the amount of original work that he did around it, Just going and tracing it to ensure that he had proper scaling and everything. There were also other things going on in the Antunes video where he was trying to attack his character because he was, making fun of certain individuals and whatnot on Twitter. But, I'm going to be completely and totally honest with you. Whenever it came to the artistic stuff, Antunes, he does good animations, if you've seen that one where that hand pops up out of the ground holding the cell phone, that's way better than anything I could have done, all right? This guy get retweeted or shared or something like that by the official Cartoon Network account. It's interesting. The dude is definitely better at everything that he does than I would be whenever it comes to art and whatnot. And I would go so far as to say he's definitely 100% a better animator than Daft Pina was. I'm gonna be honest with you, the thing that Daft Pina made, that little animated short that didn't really get picked up by anything, it's just it's an eyesore to me from the little bit that I saw. Awful lot of tweens, it looks like those looks like he did some rigs and then animated those rigs, a lot of stuff with rigging animation, all right, very smooth, but in a way that I just do not like. It looked like he oversimplified the designs but didn't really give them too much character. I can't tell who's who in this, it's just not my cup of tea. Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest, I'm just not a fan of his art. I'm not a fan of his animation, Daft Pina specifically, and I think that his videos get really boring very quickly, and while it does get views, it just doesn't get my attention. The TLDW version of this video, Too Long Didn't Watch, is that whenever it comes to art reviewing and whatnot, yeah, there's definitely a market for it. There's definitely a little hole of content on YouTube you can fall down whenever it comes to it. But you've got eyeballs, and if it's free, I would just look at it yourself, judge it for yourself. Don't use other people's criticisms to back up your opinions and whatnot specifically. specifically. Of course, this does change if it's like something that's paywalled, but I mean, there's ways around those paywalls sometime. I won't get into those. Like I said, you got eyes, why not use them? Anyways, I think that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, well, I do daily uploads. You can subscribe if you'd like to check those out. They all follow this similar format. Why not give this video a like? Definitely helps with the morale, definitely helps with the motivation, and definitely helps with the algorithm. And if you want to check out my Twitter, where I do post my art from time to time, it's twitter.com/Hale_Keezer. I've been Keezer. I've never been good at outros. I'll see you next time.